In this episode of Sailing Dark Angel, we finally make Imp Night legal by installing a very cool set of Navisafe Dinghy Lights. If you like our videos, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. It's free for you and really helps our channel.
All right, it's project day and I get to open a new toy. Imp has been running around legally for the most part, but at night we don't have any dinghy lights, and I wanted to remedy that, especially when it's starting to get darker earlier. And when we're in places like the United States where they get fussy about things like, following the law. So we've been not running at night. We've only been running during the day, or now that we will be running at night, it's time to add some lights. So when I went searching for dinghy lights, I found Tula's Tech Talk from Tula's Endless Summer. He was installing a set of Navisafe Dinghy Lights. And I thought that I liked the quality and they look good. It looked a little expensive, but if they work and they're reliable, then I guess that's worth it. So we're gonna unbox these. We're gonna throw her in the water and see if we can't make her legal. The other thing I like about this is they have GoPro mounts on them. So that's a way to put GoPros right on the dinghy when we're underway, when we're diving, stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool too. So let's give it a try. What's in the box? All right, what's in the box?
Damn it, Dave, what's in the box?
Hope none of it's fragile because I just dropped it all. So we very carefully place the box aside for later. We have, well, let's start with the bag. In the cute little storage bag they give you, we've got the lights, the post mount, and some carefully written, thoughtful instructions. That's it for the bag. We've got a mount for the bow, which has a secure locking mechanism to lock the light into place. Liking that. This mount would be for the transom. We're going to have to drill some holes, obviously. And again, solid locking mechanism. Then we have our lights. I'm assuming this is the bow light. You can see here it has the locking mechanism that drops into the locking mount, and now it's solid, can't move, stays directional. But it's also on a GoPro mount. So we can lock that into place, drop a GoPro camera on there. Here's the stern light, which is an all-around white light. So it doubles as your stern light and your steaming light. And we have one last mystery piece. A flush mount. So we're probably going to use the transom mount, but if you had a solid flat surface, you could also use the flush mount. For instance, maybe to put it on the back of the motor. I don't know. I like the idea of it being up on the post though. All right, I gotta go drop the dinghy in the water so that I can actually work on it. We're gonna prep the bow piece for install. We're gonna clean up the area where we're gonna attach the thing. She's not looking quite as new and pretty as she was, and apparently you don't want her looking too new and pretty because people like to steal the new and pretty ones. Oh wow, that works nice. Unfortunately, you realize what I've done here is I've made a clean spot. And you know what happens when you make a clean spot. You got to clean the whole thing. We're going to put the mount here, trace it out with a pencil, tape it off, lightly sand it, and prep it for adhesion or sticking, whichever you prefer. So we're going to very, very carefully measure this. That looks about right. Looks good to me. That's pretty good. Now we're just going to lightly sand this. This is 100 grit, so it should get us just a little bit of scuff. Don't want to take it down enough to damage the surface of the tube. You just want to take it down enough to make sure that the adhesive sticks well. Because the Highfield decal comes so far up, this is actually a little higher than it probably should be, but I'll have lots of clearance for the light, so it'll be visible from both sides, and it'll just be a little bit of a stepping hazard we'll have to watch out for when we're getting on and off the bow, which honestly we don't do very often anyway. So Navisafe does supply hardware for mounting the stern light. Unfortunately, what they supply is self-tappers, which is great if that's what you want to use. I'd rather have the thing bolted on solid, so I just picked up some stainless hardware, and I'm going to use Allen lock nuts, some good size washers so I can get a good bite, and we're going to stick those on. But first, I'm also going to add some double-sided tape to the back of here. I want to get a good seal. I don't want the thing flexing and pulling off, so I'm just going to add a little bit of double-sided tape to give myself a better mounting surface. Then we're going to drill some holes. I'm really looking forward to that. I love drilling holes and stuff, except when it's mine. So we just got to mark it and drill it. So we got a handy-dandy knife, and we got some ridiculously expensive tape. I used to use a lot of this tape when I was in the automotive business. It works really, really good in all weather. The trick with using double-sided tape is to slit the metal of the tape so that when you peel it off, you can peel it from the inside instead of peeling it from the edges, and that way the tape won't lift up on you when you're trying to peel the backing off. Now what I generally do is I start with a 1/8 bit to mark the hole and to do the original drill, and then use a larger, the correct size bit afterward. What that does is it keeps the drill bit from wandering around. So basically, I'm going to put it here above the decal, and that way I know I'm above the water line. I don't want to be drilling holes below the water line, especially while I'm sitting in the boat. Put the upright in place and lock it, and there is no give on that. So we're going to put it here. So this is going to sit here. It's fairly straight up and down. I can add another section to it if I want. I'm above the water line. So we're going to stick it. Now there's a solid bar there, so I don't want to be on that. I'm just below it. So So if we drill a hole, water comes in, we'll know I missed. Okay, if we drill a hole and the tube deflates, we'll know I missed. So we're just going to snug that up a little bit and do the other one. Never tighten one before you get the other one started, because if the holes are the slightest bit offset, you'll never get the other one going. Now if we were in Bahamas doing this, I wouldn't worry about dropping the wrench because I would just go get it. But if we drop it here, it's pretty much gone. Now the beauty of using the double-sided tape on this is that it's pre-started and it's not going to go anywhere. Whereas if you didn't have the tape, you'd be trying to hold it in place while you line up the washer, while you line up the nut, while you're trying to screw it all together. And to me, that's just too much work. There's nothing flimsy about this thing. It all looks very rugged. Even though it's plastic, it's a very solid grade. So there's one step left. That is very solid. Very, very solid. This can be easily put in and removed. It's locked in place. It's not going to go anywhere. Now we got to put some batteries in the lights. This is a pretty simple little rig. The light unscrews from the base, and inside it takes 3 AAA batteries. We carry a lot of batteries on the boat because there's so many different things that use batteries in all different sizes, and when you don't have them, you're screwed. I discovered that when I was sailing with Mark. My microphone batteries went dead, and try and get AAA batteries anywhere in the middle of Bahamas. You pop in the batteries, there's a little cover that goes on, and it's a slide lock. It just locks into place. Batteries aren't going to go anywhere. Screw the base back together, and there's screws there, or sorry, there's arrows there, and when the arrows line up, she's all the way up, and you'll feel it hit. These are well made. Press and hold. And we're going to be using it in this format. I don't know how well you can see this, but this light has several different functions. This is the bow light, obviously, so it's got the port and starboard lights, and it's got rear lights. You can set it up for only port, only starboard. You can set it up as an all-around light in case you only have the one. So you've got your stern light and your port and starboard lights all in one rig. Press again and it shuts off the port and starboard, and it's just a stern light. Press again and we've just got our port and starboard lights, which is how we want the bow rig. So we'll go put that in the bow. The rear light, same idea, but this is a combination steaming light, stern light. So it's one press and we've got white LEDs all the way around. So this is obviously going to be our stern light. I don't really need 3 sections of pipe, so we're just going to take one off. And it's easy to do. I'm just going to screw this on. Alright, so you can see here that the light isn't tipping in the right direction, but that's easy to fix. We just undo the bottom, line it up so it's facing fore and aft, tip it to where we want it, lock it in place. And there you go. That's our stern light. And we can go, if you want more clearance, we can add the third one to it and get a little bit more height and make yourself even more visible. So yeah, if you take a look at the way this mounts, drop it straight into the mount so that you can tip it to where you want it. And this mount, just rock it to lock it. And this is just a GoPro mount. Snug it down and there you have it. We now have port, starboard, stern, steaming. We are now U.S. Coast Guard approved legal to travel at night. So we're going to call that a wrap. And I think it's time to move on to the next job, because there's a